This is Industrial Edge, a podcast where we discuss the cutting-edge world of factory automation and the technologies shaping the future of the industry. I'm Lacey Chandler.
Hello, Lacey.
And I'm sitting with Robert DeMaria. We're here at the 2024 Almond Board Conference in Sacramento at the Safe Credit Union Conference Center. It's a beautiful day. There's a lot of action out here, a lot of energy, a lot of optimism. And I would like for you to tell me about your almond socks.
Actually, I got these at, I think it was the Almond Bureau booth. We're giving them away, and I took a pair yesterday, and I'm wearing them today.
That's very exciting. Thank you for sharing. Next, can you please take a minute to introduce yourself? Okay. Tell us a little bit about what you do, who you work for, and your hopes and dreams for this conference.
Well, my name, as you said, is Robert DeMaria. I am the general manager for OK International, based in Marlborough, Massachusetts. We are very fortunate to have been partnered with Chandler Automation on a lot of products out here in the almond industry. I knew absolutely nothing about the almond industry 48 hours ago. I feel like I am a super smart guy with the almond industry. I met so many wonderful people and very passionate about what they do. You talked about the optimism. There's a lot of optimism out there from the people I was talking to. Just on the farms, the other thing I've noticed is this is a huge family business. There's many, many family farms out here, so that's nice that it hasn't been corporatized, I guess, if that's a word. And it's been phenomenal. What I wanted to learn here was, as I mentioned, we've been partnering with Chandler for a few years now, and it's an honor to be here and see what goes on and how you people operate. And just like all these farms, you're a family business, and the amount of people that have stopped by this booth just to say hi, whether they've been a customer or not a customer or bought from someone else, everybody still comes by like it's a family, and that's a really great feeling to be partnering with Chandler Automation.
Tell me a little bit about the company you work for. What do you offer?
Okay, so OK International, we have two divisions. We have a sealer division. I think you spoke to my colleague Eva yesterday about sealers. So I'll talk about the end-line packaging machinery. We are part of the offerings Chandler offers. We complement the orange machine over there, which is phenomenal. Everybody comes to see the orange machine. Ours isn't as nearly as sexy as the orange machine, but we start with a case erector. So we open the cardboard boxes, we move them down the line. If the customer would like a plastic bag in the box, we'll put the plastic bag in the box, and we move it down the line again. And then depending on the product, whether they want a net weight or gross weight, we will fill the box. Once we fill the box, we uncuff the plastic. Some clients like the plastic sealed, others like it just folded over. We can offer that option for them. And we index it down the line. We seal the box again. And from there, it's taken by a robot and palletized and goes out the door. So it's very simple. A lot of my friends joke it's a bag in a box, and that's basically what we do. We put a bag in a box, and we put the product in the box.
Can you explain to me what a line is? What does that mean?
Assembly line, production line, I guess that's what I mean by it. So our line consists of a case erector, a bag inserter, a taper sealer machine to close it, and then the end of the line would be the robotics. That's what I consider.
So a case erector is a machine that opens a cardboard box.
Takes a folded cardboard box, yes, and it opens the box. Case erector, it'll seal the bottom of the box so the box is open. It'll index it down the conveyor line into the next stage, where we'll either put a plastic bag in it or just move it down the line.
And this is all done by machines?
Automation and machinery, yes.
How many humans does it involve?
Usually two, an operator and a maintenance person. And the operator basically keeps an eye on things. The maintenance person is usually keeping an eye on 4 or 5 lines to make sure everything is working correctly.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been with OK for just over 2 years now.
And do you have other experiences in a similar industry?
I have a machinery background. I was in the injection molding industry previous to this, and so I've been around machinery a lot. As a general manager, I'm not involved in the day-to-day stuff, if you will. Mine is more of a larger picture. It's a family-owned business. The family has never worked anyplace else. They've all worked in the industry. I've known the family for many years, and what I brought to the industry or to the business is knowledge from outside the world, to try and do things differently. Our machines have been pretty much a stalwart of the industry. We've got machines that are 30 years old, still running. That's great news. The bad news is that we really haven't changed anything. I've started implementing changes. We're putting in larger touch screens. We're doing servo motors. We're adding Ethernet ports to all of our equipment so that we can log in remotely. So those are the kind of things that I'm bringing to the table.
Have you had an opportunity, or have you learned of an experience where you've seen a customer's facility before they had this equipment?
Yes. So that's a very interesting question, because a lot of our equipment is, I don't want to say replacing, but reallocating labor, okay, to different divisions. As with anything human related, there's absenteeism, there's injuries. The automation that we provide helps eliminate that. It makes them more efficient. Our lines will do 8 to 10 boxes a minute on average. The human beings were 15 to 20. I mean, it takes a long time to manually do that. The weights are inaccurate because they're being filled by people. Some people, could push a box closed and have more product in there versus some of the people that may not be as strong, and the boxes would be bulging, weird things like that. So we make it consistent. Trying to think of the right word, but it's consistent over and over again. One of the great things is when you start talking to these manufacturers and they understand that they're not letting people go, they're just reallocating them. So they're getting better throughputs and consistently, I should say. So that's what they like about it.
I'm just looking at the machine behind you, and it looks like there's a lot of parts. Does it take quite a bit of skill to be able to maintain it or fix it or service it? How does that part work?
So you're looking at a filler behind us. It's got several different components. It has electronics, it has pneumatics, and it has manual components to it. As mentioned earlier, our machines, they run forever. We have maintenance programs that we suggest that people do, and if people follow those maintenance programs, we never hear from them. Occasionally they need spare parts. If they don't follow those programs, then we have our own service technicians, and actually Chandler has service technicians as well that are very well versed on our equipment. And then we'll send those out for people to help them with their equipment. But the equipment just runs phenomenally. It's smooth. There are different components. We have software engineers back at the office. We have mechanical engineers, and then we have the production people that sometimes get involved because a hopper may have slid or not lined up, and we'll have to reconfigure something for someone.
It's fascinating to me to think that machines can do all of this work.
It's not only is it fascinating, but you want to look at what you're doing, right? You're taking people out of harm's way. I mean, you're lifting a 50-pound box of almonds all day long and putting them on a pallet. You're twisting, you're turning. There's injuries, prone to injuries. And you can reallocate the labor someplace else where maybe they're just overseeing a sorting machine or something, right, where people aren't in those
Which is
positions.
Probably more interesting for that particular person
than
the backbreaking work.
Yeah. Backbreaking is a good term, yes.
I mean, you would do the work if you had to, but nobody would really appreciate that type of job. Do you have any particular customers or case studies that you know of that where you've seen the benefit, where maybe they've gone from just being able to run a few boxes a minute to a lot, or how they've improved their operations with your equipment?
I don't have actual numbers of that, but what I can tell you is that when we've put a line in a facility, within weeks, they're calling back and they're saying, hey, can we tweak this just a little bit more, get a little more production? We say, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. And they're like, all right, that's great. We'd like to do that for our next line. because they've seen the savings and the realization of what's happening, right? Their employees actually, believe it or not, seem to be more engaged sometimes because now they're learning something technical, if you will, versus just sitting there taping boxes all day long or lifting boxes all day long. So the employees are happier as well.
Can you explain how it works to have some of these machines implemented? Is it sort of like Legos where they snap together and you turn it on and it works? Or how does that process go?
That's the next generation of the machine. We'll just hook them together and they're off and running. But no, currently it takes experienced technicians. We set the machines in place. We line them up. There's conveyors that connect the machines to each other, motorized conveyors or belt conveyors to do that. And then we tweak the machines. We set them all up. Some of them run at different speeds because we're running a single lane or a dual lane filler, depending on what's going on. So it's not plug and play yet, but that's one of our goals. Just get there and plug them in and off you go.
I've never heard of any equipment that does that, but it just looks so complicated to me that it's curious. So these machines are built not at the customer facility, they're built where you are?
Yep, we're manufactured in Marlborough, Massachusetts, American made. We test them there. We do factory acceptance tests so the customers come to us, they see, they can bring their technicians. We'll do training for them as well. And then we crate them up. We ship them to the customer. Usually it's an exclusive truck right to the customer's door, unload it. Our team will be there as they break down the pallets and set the machinery in place. And
then
put it
from the
together.
time it shows up to the time you're seeing results is about how long?
Optimistically, 5 days, if everything goes well. But there's usually the customer didn't read something and they don't have enough air there or the power is wrong. But definitely within 10 days, it's up and running. And then another couple days to tweak everything and make everybody happy.
What about the timing if somebody wants one of these machines and they put an order in? How long until they might see one?
Well, that depends a lot on supply and demand. So, for example, right now at this show, if somebody wanted a machine, I would tell them 28 to 30 weeks. Now, 5 minutes later, someone else comes by and wants the same machine. I've just given up that time slot. So the next one's going to be a little bit longer, right? 35 to 40 weeks, depending. Okay. So it's all based on what's going on in the factory and how we're doing.
So you better run and get it while you can.
Pretty much that's what I tell people.
Is that amount of time industry standard?
I think we are ahead of some of the industry standard. And a lot of it, too, depends on some of the electronics. Sometimes the customer wants special electronics like an Allen Bradley versus a Siemens or vice versa. And then there's lead times from some of our vendors. And I think that our competitors also run into those same problems.
So every time I see a cardboard box, would it be reasonable to assume that the place it came from has a case erector?
No.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. There was a young lady we were talking to earlier. They're still making them by hand, and they're manually loading the boxes. We're trying to talk to her about the benefits of automation.
Which include what?
Well, again, it takes away the risk of injury. The machines don't call in sick. The machines don't need workers' comp insurance. They don't need health insurance. I mean, when you look at a machine that, part of our machinery, let's just say the case erector, you're talking $70,000, right? What do you pay an employee in over a year or 2 year time when you roll in all the benefits and everything? The ROI on that is fairly quick.
Well, there's also factors of quality and speed and efficiency, like you said, the consistent, reliable numbers that you can expect day to day and be able to promise your customers. And it'll work on Christmas morning at nighttime. It doesn't complain.
Well, we usually give them the holidays off, okay?
Oh, that's so generous.
The 5 major holidays they get. But nights, weekends, midnights, they run.
Do you hear that, AI? We're being compassionate here. Well, how can somebody access you or these machines if they're interested in implementing them in their operations?
Well, they can certainly stop by booth 431 here at the show.
341, that's
341, I'm sorry. They can go to our website, okcorp.com, then go to chandlerautomation.com and reach out to the governor, Mr. Sean Chandler. Everybody's doing it now, right? You go to the website, you find somebody, we talk to you, we find your needs, we come out to your site, we look at what's going on, we offer suggestions, because sometimes you don't know what you need, sometimes we don't understand what you need.
Okay, well, Robert, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Well, Lacey, thanks for having us. It's a pleasure being a part of the Chandler family.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. And I hope that the show is very successful for you.
The show has been extremely successful.
Already?
I know so much about the almond industry now. I'm going to write a book when I get home.
What is something that you've learned that you were surprised about that you learned?
All right, don't be shocked.
I'm already shocked.
But I was sitting at a bar yesterday.
Okay.
And two individuals that didn't know each other sat down and we all started talking. And both of them have been in this valley, in this nut industry, their entire lives. I found out that it cost, if you own the land, it's about $3,000 an acre to grow the almonds. Also, the expectancy is 2,400 pounds per acre. Unfortunately, a couple of people had bad seasons for whatever reason, and they were only getting 1,900 pounds an acre. And that's a big swing. So that was one of the fun facts that I learned yesterday.
Something I learned as well. I didn't know those things. There's so much that goes into it when you just look at a bag of nuts on the shelf, or, when you're throwing them in your mouth for a snack.
Yeah.
And how there can be this big of an industry with this many dynamic
individuals,
reasons and responsibilities and details that go into it all. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Well, thanks again.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Okay.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Cheers.